Shout out to this brother. He runs a Catholic YouTube channel, drops some really well made videos, and periodically I'll watch a video or two. It's pretty cool. He just recently dropped a video explaining why he's not Eastern Orthodox. It grabbed my attention because one of the things about me is I love to hear about why people pick one over the other. It really fascinates me, honestly. So it's a short video, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing. If you'd like to watch this video in context, I'll link it in the description. All right, let's get it.
Me too. Why not Eastern Orthodoxy? This has been a question I've been asked so many times. When I talk about my conversion story, when I talk about going from an evangelical to a Lutheran to a Catholic, people always ask me, well, didn't you consider Eastern Orthodoxy? Why didn't you do that? And to be honest, I don't have a thoroughly thought out apologetic for why Eastern Orthodoxy is false. It just seems to not be true to me. And it never was appealing to me. It was never really on my radar. And it just, to me, doesn't seem to be true. And I'll explain why.
His opinion is that the papacy is true, and he doesn't really have a thought out argument on why Eastern Orthodoxy isn't true, and it just doesn't seem true. And I respect that. A lot of apologists nowadays will browbeat the other side and kind of dig their heels in the sand as if their opinion about something is fact when it's not. So he goes on to explain.
Explain why. And the first and probably largest reason why I don't find Eastern Orthodoxy convincing is that I am convinced of the papacy. I think it is evident in Scripture, very clearly evident in Scripture and in the early church, that Jesus Christ built the church on Peter. He gave Peter a special role of authority over the church, and gave the apostles a special authoritative role as well. And the authority of the apostles were passed on to their successors, and the authority of Peter was passed on to his successors. And that line of successors leads up all the way to today, Pope Francis. I've defended the papacy many times in previous videos.
I'm not going to spend too much time on this whole papacy thing. I always just want to ask this question to people who say what he just said. And that question is simple. What does that mean? Like building the church on Peter. Like, what does that mean to them? Like, I understand the role of Peter and the apostles, and I understand Peter was the first among equals, but I just don't see where Christ really made any distinction. I have yet to be convinced. I see in context what Christ was saying, on this rock, I will build my church. That's because Peter gave the correct answer, and that confession of faith is what Christ built his church on. It was the foundation. But again, I'm not digging deep on this one. I just truly don't see or even understand how they see it. And I'm open. I don't see it. All right.
That it's not true. I'm just going to believe that the papacy is actually true. The second reason that I don't find Eastern Orthodoxy convincing is because it is divided into different, not denominations, I wouldn't call it that, but different branches of Orthodoxy. And that presents a similar problem to Protestantism. I mean, first of all, it doesn't seem to be the church that Jesus intended. It doesn't seem to be the church structure that Jesus intended. Jesus prayed that we would be one as he and the Father are one. And the church that best exemplifies that oneness is the Catholic Church. Eastern Orthodoxy having, I think it's like 14 different branches, all of whom are in varying levels of communion with one another, some of whom are not in communion with the others. That just seems to be a church structure that is not what Jesus Christ intended. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with the church structure that Jesus Christ did intend, which is exemplified in the Catholic Church. Which brings me to my third and final
misrepresentation. Orthodoxy is doctrinally unified in a way that no other Christian tradition is. Every Orthodox church shares the same faith, sacraments, and apostolic tradition. There's no difference in what is believed and practiced between, say, the Greek, Russian, or Antiochian churches. Any administrative or jurisdictional divisions are just that, administrative. Unlike Protestantism, where different denominations have fundamentally different doctrines, or unlike Catholicism, where theological developments can be dictated by one central authority, Orthodoxy has maintained doctrinal unity for 2,000 years without a single pope-like figure ruling over the church. And to me, that's true unity, not centralized bureaucracy. Also, the Catholic Church espouses that our sacraments are valid, and so we have the Eucharist. And if Catholicism was the quote-unquote one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, why would your bishops allow Catholics to take communion at an Orthodox church? The Orthodox Church doesn't allow its members to partake in a Catholic church. For some reason, though, these things are never brought up or addressed. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to cover. He lists a third reason, but it's his opinion, so it's anecdotal. He's a genuine dude, and I like his content, so I just really wanted to give a thought on it. So what are your thoughts? Am I wrong? Make sure to let me know how much of a heretic I am in the comments section. All right.